Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. All right, well, it's a new day, and we're starting on jig number 2 here for this little plate project. And we're going to bring you in a little closer and show you what we're doing. Okay, well, here's the problem. We've got all the holes drilled. This hole is centered in these 4 holes here, and it needs to be reasonably centered. Now, he said within an 1/8 inch one way or the other, but it's got to be centered. And, you know, may as well make it really tight. So this has to drop into the center there somewhere, right? And then eventually we're going to take this, put it up on the chuck, and with the plate welded to it, and then surface this and drill a 3-inch hole in there and do a pretty heavy chamfer, right? So how do we get this so that it centers up? And the only way I've come up with, we've got these threads are pretty consistent, so we can count out that. So we're going to center the threads and just put a dimple so that it drops down into that hole, because that hole is centered on these guys, so that it drops down into that hole. And at the same time, I want to be able to hold this down so that when I weld it, it doesn't kick up and kick sideways on me. So we're going to do a hold down on top of that. All right, so you got the concept. Now, and of course we're going to do that 26 times. So it isn't like I'm just going to set it up once and be done. I want to set it up, and also there's more in the future. So first thing we'll do is just face that off. We found ourselves a little plug of steel. Well, you can't see anything from there. Let's move you. Much better, huh? Okay, so we've got our top edge here, and you know, it missed a little bit there, but you know, that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. I do want to come in and kiss this edge though. Okay, that's a good start. Now, let's take this back out. And we're going to put it in just a little bit out so that it's just barely grabbing. And I'm thinking we could just take some lathe bits. Yeah, let's slide a lathe bit in there, drop it in. And we can get fairly close. One would hope. There we go. That looks pretty close. Snug this down real good. And come up with a bit that we're going to be able to cut with. And that will get us almost all the way in there without any interference. That's very good. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so we're going to face this off and start cutting. We're just barely over the line there, so we're going to give it just a little bit more room. And okay, so let's loosen this back up just slightly. And grab this, bring it out a bit. Let's see what that looks like. Smooth. Yeah, that's much better. You know, and I think since we're kind of hanging out here on the very edge of everything, I think it's probably prudent to go ahead and put a center in there and give it a little strength. Did we lose our position? It looks like we may have. Okay, so what are we going to need to do here? Well, okay, I know. We can just go in and cut our inside dimension here very carefully, then push this whole thing in, and then we have to cut our 9/16, you know, this whole edge here. So let's see what we got. There's still an edge there. I think it's going to be fine. Just giving it a little support. Okay, so now we're going to come in. This wants to clamp down, so we're going to come in beyond this and take I'd say that's good, but we'll go a little further. Well, at some point or another, the battery went dead, so I'm not sure where we left off, but we've got the size, we've tested it, it goes on nicely. There's just a little bit of a drop here, and I think what I want to do is take just a little bit more just in case. These sleeves were made in China. They're fairly close, but it would be my luck that there would be one that was not the same size. So let's just take another cut. All right, we gave ourselves another 1/16, which is going to be perfect. Okay, good. We're set. Oh no, we need to put a hole in here and tap it and put a little bolt in there. So it doesn't have to be anything big, but certainly it's going to be, it wants to be reasonably strong. So we're going to go in with a 1/2 inch, I think. Yeah, 27/64, that should do it. I mean, we're not putting any pressure against that. Basically, it's just an indexing point. All right. Okay, so we come in with a tap follower, run this all the way up. Oops, too far, too far. Okay, come back a little bit. There we go. crescent wrench, put a little pressure on the whole ball game. A little tapping fluid. And that's close enough. And I think we got what we want. Let me go find a bolt and a nut, or I mean a bolt and a washer. Got- Make sure the plate still goes on. No problem. And I'll be back. Okay, so we're going to weld the flange, this flange here, onto the plate. And first thing, because, well, it isn't a real cold day out, which is nice. We got a nice warm March spring day, but the metal is still cold. So we need to bring it up to about 375, 400 degrees, somewhere in there. And normally I'll just do a spit take on this, you know, spit a little onto the surface. But this is a pretty critical weld. The main thing is, I mean, it's going to hold, no problem, but it doesn't want to leak. So I want to get this thing to penetrate nicely. So we'll just go around here until it warms up. I got a 375 degree Fahrenheit stick. We'll get it preheated. And remember, I built this center jig so that it would hold this thing, clamp this thing down super tight, so I can just go straight around right, without having to put little tags on it or tabs on it. Oh, looks like we're almost to temp here. So let's get this sleeve done. Good, we're we're up to temperature. All right. So it'd be nice to have the weld positioner for this, but it's not done yet. So we're just going to have to kind of fake it. Start in it as far as we can and swing around. Hey! Well, not too bad a weld. We'll be back. All right, well, next thing we're going to do in this little comedy act here is when we welded that sleeve to the plate, of course the plate warped. So it warps anywhere from 15 to 30 thousandths. So we've got to come back in and square up that plate because of course a gasket goes against these 4 holes and a filter goes on top of that, so we don't want it leaking. Get that a little bit tighter. There we go. And so we have a shell mill here, or a bit, and we're going to run it across there. Oh, first I want to see where my 3 inches is, which is somewhere in this general area. And, you know, as you can tell, it's just a general measurement. So let's take this back here about to there, I'd say. Maybe a little further. And okay, we're got all our gibs tight. We're moving in the right direction. Bring it up to just touching that surface there, because that seems to be the high spot for these 2 sides, and then of course this is the real high spot. So we're going to crank it across. All right, let's go. All right, well, that was painless. Well, so we're leaving this center here because we're going to cut a 3-inch hole out of the center. So that that'll be gone. All right. And take this out. We have, I've done about, I don't know, 12, 14 of these, so we've got about, we're about halfway to this point. Now, let's go over to the lathe and we'll cut the hole and take it to the next step. Okay, well, this isn't the exact same plate that I had just over there, but it's close enough. So we'll start by drilling a, I don't know, what is this, 1 inch and a half, 1.25 inches, somewhere in there. We're going to drill that hole. bit in and take this baby up so we've got some room. And since this bit doesn't have a lock on it, I have to use my trusty crescent wrench and lock it from right there. Let's back this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we're going to take 100 thousandths on each side, 200 thousandths total. Okay, well that looks pretty good, and that kind of bottoms out right there at the, wait a second here. You still got a little bit of an edge right there. I'm going to go back in and catch that. So you see that there's these little flashing sitting out here. Well, what we have to do is we have to come in and put a heavy, here's one that I already did, a heavy bevel or chamfer on that edge there. You know, all of that will be gone by the time I get done. But for now, we take it off, we do another one. And I think what I want to do is come in and put that chamfer in using the taper or the tracer attachment, because last thing I want to do is sit here and crank on the compound for 2 hours and ruin my hands. So we'll be back. Okay, we're going to run this again now that we've got this thing down pat. I've done about I don't know, 20 of these, and we have a few left to do. So we're gonna install this. I rehooked up my coolant pump for the first time in, oh God, I don't know how long. It's been a few years at least, and it's working great. Let's get rid of some of these chips. So, as I said, we're going to, and then of course running the coolant pump, you got to put a hood on this thing or it just splatters coolant everywhere. Back this up a little bit. Put a, what is that, about 1.25 inch bit. And let's get started. a done deal. Well, not completely done because we have other things to do, but done enough, at least for this step. And there we go. Clear off my jaw faces. Oh, and by the way, the coolant, I don't know, it doesn't hurt my hands, but it's weird on my hands, and I don't like the feeling. So I put gloves on, and hopefully that's going to help a bit. So the next one, put the drill back in, bring it in closer, bring our hood down, and start it up. Okay, so we've got our piece. What we need to do now is to take and do a heavy chamfer on this edge here, or maybe a bevel would be better stated. And so what I've done is I've employed my tracer attachment, and I went back there and just made a 45, and it seems to be working just fine. So I'll run you through this one, and then of course I've got about 14 done, and I got another 14 to do. Ready? Go! Alright, well, this is going to be one of the ones where I'm going to have to come back and trim that edge off right there. And there was 2 or 3 of them so far out of 28. But, you know, a little extra effort. Oh well. Put a new one in, and we're off and running. Well, Nick Collier here, and we're done with this project, 28 pieces. What took you probably about 20 minutes to watch took me almost a week. Well, of course not working on it full time, but you know, a couple hours here, a couple hours there. And you saw the process. Now we get to deliver them to our customer, and he gets to be happy with having them on time. And they were supposed to be due 3 days from now, and they're going to be in his shop tomorrow. So that's good. And we got some more projects coming down the pike here. Hey, this is Nick Collier checking out.